Hello, I'm Ian and welcome to Somerset News Network. I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone this morning. We talk about all sorts of things. UFOs, the space program, Elon Musk popping up and picking the guys up and bringing them back to Earth. Brilliant. And he's talking about spacecraft being found in Antarctic. I don't know how true it is, but it's worth looking into. And obviously we both talk about JFK and we both have our own theories, but it looks like both of us were right. He said it was the Cubans. I said it was the CIA. It looks as if JFK was a CIA operation run by the mafia with dissidents from Cuba who were anti-Castro, and Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy because he was pro-Castro. So they used him as a patsy to make it look like Cuba did it, and that's why we're both right. But this big question still remains: was there a second shooter? Now I shoot all the time. I shoot rabbits, shoot deer, and the way when you hit an animal, I know this, some people might not like this, just turn away, go and make a cup of tea and come back a minute if you don't want to hear about this. You put a bullet into an animal and you get a hole on the front. It expands, and in the back you get a bigger hole when it comes out of the thing. When Kennedy was shot, I believe he was shot in the front and the bullet went out the back, and you saw what happened. And we're chatting about this, and then I just said, well, and then we started on talking about reform and Rupert Lowe and what we think. We think it's all a setup. We think that Rupert Lowe's been badly treated, and we both agree on that. Now, there was a QC going to look into this and do a report. He tells me that he's heard on the grapevine that the QC is not going to do the report anymore. So we're never going to know if the rumours were true or not. What a terrible way to treat a guy. You put out these rumours, call out the police on him, and then the QC to do the report is then shut down. Is that because the allegations were false? I don't know. I'm only asking the question. But I think it's an awful way of treating somebody, and that's why I withdraw my support for reform. Doesn't mean I won't vote for them. But the other groups around have got to get themselves together. And I'm going to do a video on what I think should happen. And I've called it the Alliance. There needs to be an alliance of centre-right groups. Because at the moment they all seem to be little individuals. They're all saying the same thing. They're all agreeing with each other. But they're all fighting each other for the limelight and the spot. What we need is an alliance of common sense. And I think Rupert Lowe could be the catalyst for this. And then you can have the other people come in. Godfrey Bloom I'd like to see come in. But anyway, I'm going to talk more about that in my next video. This one is on about reform and the fifth man. What is the name of the MP who's the fifth man? Like I said, James McBurdoch. And we now know that. But why isn't he on social media like the others? We know the others. We know it's Nigel Farage, we know it's Richard Tice, and we know it's Lee Anderson. and they are on social media and the news all the time. But where's James? He's also the 5th Reform MP. Well, he would be the 4th MP now because Rupert Lowe's been ousted. But the thing is, as 5 MPs, Rupert Lowe was doing the most work. Rupert Lowe has over 900 parliamentary written questions. James, the 5th MP, has over 600 written questions. Farage, on the other hand, only has 20. Doesn't this tell you something? You know, MPs are there to question the government if you're in opposition, and Reform are part of the opposition. The Tories are classed as the official opposition, and then you've got the other parties, the Welsh Nationalists, the Scottish Nationalists, and the Northern Ireland MPs. And there's a handful of independents. Now, you want your MP to work for the party, for the ideas of the party, and the constituency. Now, if Rupert Lowe's done 900 written questions, I would say he's working quite hard. And James, the 5th MP that we never heard of, and we can't remember his name, has got over 600. So he's working as well. I just think it's very odd. Very odd indeed. And I think that Reform have basically shot themselves in the foot. That's what we think. And I think that it's going to take a lot to get us out. A lot of people like Reform. It was the hope we wanted, but it's not turning out for what we want it to be, which is a common sense party. Infighting ain't what we want. And if it's going to oust Rupert Lowe, who's going to become next? That's why the 5th man, James, is not saying anything. Because if he harps up and starts getting popular, he'll be out with Rupert Lowe. It ain't good. Anyway, Ian, that's my rant for this morning over. Bye bye.